Hi everyone, Katerina from Bloom and Passion here. Thank you so much for watching my video today. Can I just say it's so good to be back to recording. Unfortunately, these past couple of weeks have been hectic. My son got sick, then my daughter did, and then so did I. I lost my voice for nearly a week. I'm just about able to speak now. At Halloween I was asked where did I get my funny Halloween voice box. It was just horrendous. So all the Halloween videos that I recorded will have to go into next year's package. I just was unable to do any voiceovers on them, so yeah, but I'm back now, and I'm back with a bang. I'm back with the best Papercraft Society box ever, honestly. Talk about being late to the party now. I got this 2 years ago and I have barely used it. I really am getting into the stamping, coloring kind of side of card making really now, and I've pulled this one out. I think it's gorgeous. It's one of the most beautiful boxes I think that I've seen there, and I think it's kind of overlooked, or maybe people just aren't sharing their makes, because I went to search on YouTube, Pinterest and such, Instagram, to see what people made with this kit, and there's very little I can find. I was quite underwhelmed. I said, oh, okay, I must go and do something with it then, because honestly it is just so gorgeous. And Claire's stamps are the best. Now Claire is finishing this kind of work. She is not going to be designing anymore. Boohoo. I'm very sad because, as I said, I'm only getting into the stamping, coloring kind of things now, and it's her stamps that really got me going. No, it comes with the matching stamps and dies. I'm not gonna do the whole walkthrough thing because there's so many walkthrough videos, box opening videos, there's really no point wasting time with that. But all these papers are so gorgeous, and what I did, I photocopied them. I don't know how many times, honestly. I will never run out of these papers. I must come back with another video where I'm using them all up, because I've just so many of them. But as I said, I really love this kit. So we'll be making two similar but slightly different cards with this. And the cards we are going to make are these gorgeous, these are 10-fold, and do you see the pillars in there? This is like a pop-out window, pillar pop-out window, I guess. It folds flat this way, or the other way, obviously. And a slightly different version, where instead of the pillars I folded those cardstocks differently, and now these became these springy cardstocks, just to collapse it down kind of flat. I mean, I say kind of flat because it does have a dimension to it anyway, but it just folds flat into a springy envelope or into a little envelope box, and once you take it out it will automatically pop out just like so. Now they are slightly differently made, exactly the same size of cardstock, but one of them I made in portrait and the other one in landscape mode. But obviously you can use this method on the portrait mode. It's so easy to adjust, you know. All you have to do is make this ones smaller to fit this size of the cardstock, or make it a bit taller, and then it would fit this side of the cardstock. So these are quite easy to make. Sizes of the cardstock are 6 by 7 inches, both of them. Yeah, I know it's kind of an odd size. It's not something that I see a lot being made, but not that long ago I made a lovely, like a new baby card, and I will try to add the picture in here if I can kind of figure out how to do that. And it was this size, and I just thought it worked. I really loved how it turned out, so I decided to share this size with you guys. So I'm going to now show you how I made these gorgeous Christmas cards. One that says season greetings, and the other one says Happy Christmas. They're absolutely stunning. So stay with me and we'll get down to it. I'm going to start with the one that is in the portrait format, and I will be using these pillars for this one. Now, to make the card base, which is 7 by 6 inches, I'm using 2 pieces of cardstock. One of them is 7.5 by 6, and on the 7.5 inches I just scored at 1/2 inch, and this will give me this little tab. The other piece of cardstock is 7 by 6, and I'm just going to glue this on there. You can glue it on the inside or on the outside, it really doesn't matter. Just try to find my glue. So now I have a 7 by 6 inch of a card base. Now there's multiple ways you can do that. If you have large A3 size of cards, you can cut out one that measures 14 by 6 inches and just score down in the middle at 7 inches and score and burnish the fold line. Or if you have a 7 by 7 inch card base, just cut 1 inch away on one side, and that way you will get your 7 by 6 inches. I will put this aside and I will use it on another card. Okay, so there's multiple ways that you can create a card base this size. For the mats and layers, the holographic cardstock in here measures 6 3/4 by 5 3/4, and I'm just going to glue this on. Okay, and the decorative paper from Claire's kit measures 5.5 by 6.5. So that leaves me with that lovely border on all 4 sides. So for the frame window that will be popped up against the pillars in here on the front of the card, the larger frame measures 6 by 5 inches. Okay, and with my craft knife I've cut out a window measured in 3/4 inch on all 4 sides. But if you want to do it with dies, then this inside one will measure 4.5 by 3.5. Okay, again for the green one, the frame measures 5 3/4 by 4 3/4, and on the inside bit again I measured in just 1/2 inch on all 4 sides. That's 1/2 inch of a frame, the green one. But if you want to use dies to cut that one out, then the inside one measures 4 3/4 by 3 3/4. Okay, so now we have to create the little pillars, of which one I've already done, and this will be glued onto the back of it. Okay, so to do those we will need 2 pieces of cardstock that measure 1 3/4 by just under 6 inches, because I don't want it to start poking out on the top or on the bottom, so I just made it that teeny tiny bit smaller. Okay, on the 1 3/4 inch side, just score at 1/4 inch, at 3/4 inches, at 1 inch, and 1.5. Now I'm going to fold and burnish these score lines, and I'm just going to glue the 2 ends together, the 2/4 inch of a tab. So I'm just going to add a bit of my quick wrap glue just onto the very last tab in here. Fold it flat and fold this other one on top of it. And just make sure it folds flat onto both sides, like so. So now these 2 pillars will measure 1/2 inch by 1/4 inches. This will be the depth of the dimension behind the window. So now I'm just going to glue these onto my window frame, and I'm going to add it onto the inside of it in here, like so. And I'm just making sure it's not overhanging on either side. Okay, Okay, so the way I glued these on, I glued them onto the inside bit. Okay, so there's that 1/4 of an inch on the outside on both sides. Now this will be glued onto the middle of this here. I'm just trying to see what way to, and it will fold flat just like so. Well, as flat as it can be. There's a bit of a dimension to it anyway. Okay, so I'm going to add my glue onto the two. Okay, now, so I'm going to give this a minute to dry properly, and until then we are going to work on the other base, which one I will be using in a landscape mode. So this one measures 7 inches on length and 1/2 inch on the height of the card, and it will be again a 10-fold card. So it is exactly the same measurements. It measures 6 3/4 by 5 3/4, and the pattern paper measures 6 1/2 by 5 1/2. Exactly the same as before, only we are turning it the other way. Exactly the same as before, except this time we are turning it in the landscape mode. Okay, so on this card, instead of the pillars that we done on the other card, we're going to use these little springy, like collapsible cardstock pieces. Now, because I'm using this in the landscape mode, I've cut these, instead of the nearly 6 inches tall, these are nearly 5 inches. But you can easily change this one onto the other side, just add that extra inch to it. Cut this to nearly 6 inches instead of the nearly 5. It's very easy to change these measurements. So to create one of the, we need 2 of these. Okay, I've already made one. To create the other one, we'll need a piece of cardstock that measures 3 3/4 by just under 5, and score at 3/4 of an inch, and then at 1 1/8, 1 1/2, 2 1/4, 2 5/8, and 3 inches. Now there's the larger gaps are 3/4 of an inch width. Exactly, we'll be able to hide behind the frame. And these little ones are 3/8 of an inch each of them, because it has to be half of what is in here. Now, if your frame will measure 1 inch in width, then you can make these 1 inches and then every 1/2 inch. Okay, always go down to half of what the main part of it is. I hope that makes sense. I was going to do the frame 1 inch in width, but I just thought it was quite too much. So this one is going to be for the back and forth in like a concertina fold. Okay, so we have 2 mountain folds in the middle, and then 2 valley folds, and then a mountain fold again. Okay, so it's kind of concertina fold in here. I'm going to glue the 2 larger tabs on top of each other on the bottom of it. So this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to add my glue just to this bit here. Now I'm going to glue this onto 2 sides of the card. Again, I cut these just a teeny tiny bit under 5 inches, so it does not overhang but hides there perfectly behind the frame. Okay, so a bit of a glue. And this is how the whole thing will go down, fold flat-ish into your envelope or box. Now I'm going to, I'm just thinking here, I think this could be a bit too strong. Like the colors on these ones are nice and kind of muted and all. This is quite strong. If I start to, just decorate on top of this, I think it could look quite busy. So what I'm thinking, I'm going to cut a piece of vellum that will measure 5 by 6, exactly the same size as this, or just a teeny tiny bit under. I'll be back in a sec. So that's it here cut. And if I put this behind this, and it will mute down just the middle section of it, I think that's perfect. Okay, so this is just a piece of vellum I had in my stash, and I've cut this just under 6 by just under 5 inches. I'm going to use a bit of tape on this one, and I'm going to add the tape in here. And now I have that lovely dimension in there. I love it. I think it looks so nice. Now, the other one is dry now as well. Here we go. So one of them works on the pillars that will fold flat this way, and this one will just collapse down, just like so. Okay, so to decorate these, when I was sick and my babies weren't well either, we sat down to watch TV one morning and I stamped out 2 A3 cardstocks, completely filled them with all the different stamps that came in the kit. So I have a lot and a lot and a lot of little robins and the post boxes and bird feeders or bird water thingies, and I just have so many things to decorate my cards with. So as for the decorating, I'm going to be putting it on high speed. I'm just going to very quickly mention, for colorings I used alcohol markers, my tree blend and my single ones from Spectrum Noir. I think these are amazing, I love them, except the red. I haven't got any really nice red, so this is a berry red and I ordered this off eBay a long time ago, and I mixed it with some of the magenta colors. This is how I got these lovely blends. Now I know that the paper kit comes with watercolor pencils. I'm not that confident in watercoloring yet. I'm trying my best, I will get there. But as for decorating this, I will be just putting everything on high speed. I will be first arranging them and then gluing them down. I will be using my hot glue, foam pads and liquid glue to arrange all that. Just for a little bit of a dimension, I added the Cosmic Shimmer Fluffy Stuff, which is amazing. I love this stuff. I had this for years and it still works. I was kind of expecting it to be half dried in when I pulled it out of the box, but no, it still works perfectly. So I will be using all the elements more or less. So I've cut out all the branches and the little hollies and berries in 2 different sizes, and I will be adding this to these branches just to add some extra dimension to them. There's little poinsettias with little branches. So yeah, it's really down to decorating now. For the sentiments, I will be using strips from the pre-made sentiments that came in the kit. Again, they say all with love, Merry Christmas, Merry and Bright, Happy Christmas, Handmade with Love, Warm Winter Wishes. There's all a lot of sentiments in here that you can choose from. So then I will be back to talk you through all what I'd done. Okay. Okay, so this is the 2 cards ready. I hope the camera gives back how truly gorgeous these are. It's just so amazing. It's such a, as I said before, such an amazing kit, and I will most certainly will be back to use up all the stuff that I made, because I have lots of papers photocopied, as I showed you before, and I have colored in so many of these images. I didn't even use half of them in here. So I will be back with a different make or makes using this exact same kit. Now you could see that I added a bit of a glossy accents onto the berries, and those are still just drying, and I added a bit of a Nuvo drops onto this one, and this is the glitter drops, ruby slippers, and this is like translucent but has this red glittery stuff in it. I love how it looks when it dries. And now you could see that I decided to add the branch onto the bottom layer there as well. It's just, I think it was missing that bit. It needed to go in there. I thought anyway. So this one is using the red paper with the gold mirror cardstock, and this one is this wood grain with the green, I guess. Is it like a wood grain or is it like linen? Even that kind of a texture with the holographic silver cardstock. I think they are both absolutely gorgeous. I couldn't pick a favorite if I had to. I honestly couldn't. The little robins are so cute. And on this one I added a little twine with the heart button, and this came in the kit as well, and I added a bit of a shimmer pen just to that little bow and the heart as well, then just to bring it all together. So I really hope you enjoyed today's tutorial, and if you did, please give me the thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. I have such lovely makes coming up yet, hoping no more setbacks, no more sicknesses, because yeah, I really enjoy doing this. I really love doing this, and I was really sad that I had to miss out on the Halloween crafts, sharing them, but that's something I can put away for next year's makes. Okay, so thank you so much for being with me here today, and until the next time, bye.